I'm so excited because I'm going to be revealing to you the new Oden's Eye collection that is coming out really soon. This is a continuation of their Solmåne collection. Solmåne means sun, moon in Swedish. The owner of Oden's Eye is Swedish. So some of these names at Oden's Eye is Swedish. If you didn't know, now you know. They're releasing a second palette in the series. This one is called Moon Wish palette. They're also releasing more of the blushes and the highlighters that they did with the Solmåne collection last time. I will put all the release dates, the release times, all the details down in the description box. Make sure to check that out if you want to know more about this. As I'm filming this, I don't know exactly when this is being released. I only know when it's being revealed, which is today. That's all I know. You can always use my discount code, which is Angelica over at Oden's Eye. You get 10% off your order. I also do have a collab with Oden's Eye. We have a couple of items still left of that one. In case you were interested in trying that one out, it is still available. That is our continuation of the Hella palette, the collection that we had. Some really colorful things if you were interested in that as well. We are gonna do, okay, I have not done anything with these products. I've just unpacked them. I've taken some pictures. This is the palette. It is so beautiful. And the inside, really pretty. Immediately when I opened this one, I'm like, oh, it's a blue palette. But it's actually not a blue palette. And I'm going to see if I can swatch this palette so that you can see that there are different like color groups in this one. This is a purple, mauve, like almost neutral yellow palette with, I think, one matte blue, and then there is two shimmery blues, and what I can see, it is a blue and purple duochrome, which we will definitely be using. And I'm gonna do two different looks, and the reason why I have this shirt on today, by the way, I just bought this shirt and I bought matching silk pants to it. Absolutely beautiful. I will link it down below in case you're interested. I think this is absolutely stunning. Is that I try to, when I do two different looks, I try to show you how different, how much variation can you get with the palette? Or if I do neutral looks, I try to show you how intense can you go, how dramatic can you go, because I love dramatic makeup. If you didn't know, I love dramatic makeup. I also have a full playlist of Oden's Eye. If you're interested in any of the other things, I'll try and remember and leave that down below in case you want to see some more things from them. But I'm gonna do a neutral yellow look. I love browns and yellows together. And then I'm gonna do a smoky purple look with this like duochrome. Oh, you can see here, yeah, the duochrome purple blue, because I really want to try and do two very different looks. I am pre-filming this a bit because I did have this collection in a little bit early, so I'm gonna wear the neutral look today. I love Oden's eyeshadows, and they look exactly the way that Oden's eyeshadows do. So I have very high confidence that I'm gonna love this. These are the kind of shadows that I like to work with. They are very pigmented, but still blendable. They have some substance to them so that they're easy to get on the eyes. And I also really love that they usually put different kind of shimmer formulas in a palette. There's usually a duochrome, sometimes there's a multichrome, sometimes they do holographic stuff. And they also usually do different kinds of shimmer formulas, shimmers, metallics, toppers. I love their topper shadows. They're so beautiful. And I love that you get variations. So let's talk about the blushes and the highlighters. The blushes come in these peachy packagings and the highlighters come in these packagings. They do have an imprint or like an embossing on the inside. So I'm showing you how those look. They're coming up with 3 highlighters and 3 blushes. One of my blushes came broken, so I'm not going to be opening this one. It is a shimmery one, but I'm going to show you swatches of all the different blushes, of course. The highlighters are more like colorful, like, I don't want to say well, these do look a little sparkly. They do have some highlighters and blushes from before, and some of them are sold out. And I actually asked the owner of Oden's Eye, are you going to be restocking these blushes and highlighters with the new ones? But she said they weren't planning to do that right now, but let them know that you want to see them restocked, because some of my favorite blushes and highlighters are in that collection. They're so beautiful. Not all the highlighters are sparkly, but I would say the ones that are in this collection do look a little like sparkly. This is like more like a purpley blue, and then we have one that is like a almost peachy yellow. This is definitely the one we're going to be using today. I think this is going to be beautiful. So let me show you the 3 different highlighters swatched out just so you can see what they look like. I'm going to show you these in low lights because I'm fairly sure that all 3 of these are duochromes, just so you can see what these are about. When it comes to the blushes, there are 2 different matte blushes. One that is almost like a muted, like earthy pink, and then one that is like a more poppy but still slightly warmer, almost corally pink. Then there is a shimmery blush, which is a corally gold blush, and you're seeing the swatches here. You can clearly see which one is the shimmery one. I can still swatch it, I just can't hold it up because it is a little broken. I'm gonna order a new one for myself when this collection launches because it looks beautiful, and I definitely, maybe that's the one we should. This is me thinking, maybe I'll do the shimmery blush today and I'll just put it on my cheeks when we like zoom in, because I don't have any blush or highlight on my cheeks, and we can just see how much glow we get from that blush. I'm gonna see if I maybe can repress it. I didn't do that yet, but I'm gonna buy a new one for myself when it launches. But let's zoom in and let's try these out. I am so excited. When Henji sent me the mail saying that they were going to be releasing this, and they always send you a mail saying like this is when they're going to be revealed, just so that nobody like shows it early. I was so excited that they were doing more of the Solmåne because it was one of my favorite palettes that they released, and I'm so excited to have more. And I'm actually really, first I opened it, like I said, I was like, oh, it's blue, and I was like, wait, you can do one of my favorite neutral looks, which is the brown with the yellow. So we are going to be playing with both the brown mattes and the yellow matte and the two yellowy shimmers. Very excited. Let me just show you. Mine looks like this, and as you can clearly see, it's very, very broken, and now I have some on my desk as well. But I think I'm just gonna lightly dip into this, and we're gonna see, because it is like, it's really hard to pick this up if I'm gonna be honest, but I'm gonna try. But yeah, I feel like I'm only picking up the sparkle and not like the pigment. I really do need to buy a new one of these. Oh, it's so pretty though. With a more dense brush, I was able to work it in a little bit more because, again, you could see it was so shattered. But it is really pretty. But this is a very glowy blush, and I would say that this one is even more glowy or like highlighty than the blushes that they had before. At least what I feel. Like this one is even more shiny. This is like shiny, shiny. I do think like this is what the cheek looks like with just the blush. And as you can see, this is very sheeny, but I do want to try a little bit of this one. It's called Light Glory. So let's see how this is. Okay, this one. Okay, I don't know if you can see a difference at all, but I can see that this one has a little bit more of a gold red duochrome, and the other one was more like a light peachy pink sheen. This one is definitely even more sheeny, and that other one had like a base. This one doesn't really have a base to it. It's just that the sheen itself has like a color to it. I am very metallic right now. Like it is. Yeah, if you like very intense highlighters, this might be for you. I have like two on top of each other right now, and I can tell you right now, this is metallic. Is that too much? I'm gonna go with maybe. I don't know if you can see when the light comes in. You can see here the gold duochrome, and then it's like the reddish peach, and then it goes to that gold. You see it here. It's pretty. It's very metallic. And I definitely did not need to layer two of them together. So I'm going to put on some eye primer, and we're going to do the browns. I'm going to do these two browns in the outer corner and then the yellowy matte in the inner part of the crease. Okay, this is the dark brown color that's called Saturn. And I'm just starting with a little because I don't know. I think I'm going to start with what I call as the blob, which is just I put the color that I want to be the most dominant color in the look. And for me, like here, it is the dark brown, and it's probably going to be the yellow as well. Those two are going to be the two colors that play off each other, but I'm doing a blob with the brown here. You can see I don't bother with blending. I don't bother with trying to put it on evenly. I'm just putting it down. And now that I have it on, I try to soften the edges a little bit before I start blending with that lighter brown that is called Dust. So I'm just going to soften on the edges. I add no additional color to the brush. This is an EO2. It's from my own brand, Cinch Beauty. We do a really good brushes, if I may say so myself, if you're looking for some brushes to elevate your game. So this is number 2, and I'm just You can see I softened the edges a little bit. I'm gonna leave this like this, and then we're gonna blend it out even more with the dust color. So this is the shade Dust, which you can tell is almost my skin tone, just a little bit more cool toned. And I'm putting that on the bridge in between here. It's gonna make it a lot easier to go into the yellow. This one is very pigmented, and I'm putting very little on the edge here. Just something to blend out that dark brown with. You can see it doesn't do that much. It just makes it a little bit more even. And then I go in and I reapply some of the dark brown. I think I'm gonna put this under my eyes as well. So just reapplying some of the dark brown just to blend them together to make sure that, like, again, like I told you, I want this brown to be more significant in the look than the lighter beige. So I need to make sure that I'm not burying it under the light beige pigment. I'm gonna do some of that dark brown on the lower lash line too, just closest to the lash line, because again, I want it to be more about this brown than the other one. So I'm cleaning off the EO4, the one that is like a little pinched. I'm cleaning that one off so we can use the light yellow on it. You know how old this one is? It's so old that this is the prototype. It just has the number 4 on it because I named it EO4. This is a prototype. This is very old. So we're gonna do the yellow one here then, that's called Star, and I'm gonna be packing this in the inner part of the crease and a little bit on the lower part here. That picks up so beautifully. I'm just gonna make sure, where did I put the, I'm just gonna make sure that I don't have any creases in the primer before we start, because it's just a shame if we like set any creases with the powder. Oh, what a beautiful pale yellow. I love yellow eyeshadow. I love yellow. I love yellow eyeshadow, and I love like yellow pale mattes like this. That is so pretty. Oh, we are gonna have a good time. With pastels, I usually like press them into the primer and then I blend the edge a bit to get them to be as opaque as possible. Because for me, I use pastels as contrast. Can you see the contrast? Like, it's so bright and like light and opaque, but you can't just be swiping with a super fluffy brush. You're not going to get the same result. It all depends on like what you are looking for. Different tools and different techniques depending on what result you are expecting. You can't be expecting a super opaque result if you're swiping back and forth with a fluffy brush. That's just not what you're gonna get. Look at that. Oh, it's so pretty. I'm also putting this in my inner corners a little bit. That looks absolutely beautiful. Now I'm just fading these two shadows into each other a bit, and we are going to be layering some shimmers. I'm going to use EO1. This is clean. It's somewhat clean. And there are two more neutrally shimmers. We have this golden one, which we are definitely going to be using, but then we have this one that's called Moon. Should we swatch this? So this is Meteor, which is the yellow. Oh, pretty. And then we have Moon. Yeah, this one is a little bit more lighter, because this is what I want to do. I'm thinking if this even fits in. Does this fit in? Maybe not. Maybe we will stick with this one. Just the Meteor one. This is beautiful, but this will make a totally different look. And I'm looking for this look. Like yellow, lion, safari, 70s. Jam. It picks up beautifully, but I am gonna spray it. I usually do a spray, whatever spray you have next to you. I'm just using a one from Pixi. If you can find a spray that has glycerin in it, that's really good. It makes the shadow stick even better. But the most important thing is that you first pick up the shadow, then you spray it with whatever setting spray honestly you have in front of you. Try to pick one that doesn't say dewy on it, because the oils might not help with eyeshadows at all. And then once you've sprayed it, you put it on your eyes. And then you put it on until your brush no longer feels damp. And then you can go back into the palette, and either you can pick up more or you can spray it again, just to make sure. Spraying your brush makes it like using your finger. It gets a little bit more opaque. It foils a little better, and also you don't get as much fallout. But I like being precise with the brush over my finger, but I like the result that my finger gives. don't take that out of context. Because I have long like claws, it doesn't help working with your fingers on your eyes. It's just not meant for like more detailed work. So spraying my brush just gives me the best of both worlds. I know I get a lot of questions about this if you're wondering why I'm being so thorough all of a sudden, but I do get questions about spraying my brush, what I use, how I do it, a lot. It's probably one of the most asked questions on my YouTube. So I'm putting the yellow in the middle and then I'm tapping on the edge to disperse the metallic into the mats that we have going on. I'm gonna go in with a little bit more of the yellowy one. Again, I'm just gonna tap this on the edge to make sure that it looks good. And then same with the Saturn shade, which is the dark brown. I'm putting that on the edge here, just on the little diagonal in here to make the outer corners still be matte and dark. And I think that is it. I don't know if it's fallout or if it's that my cheeks are very, very glowy. I think that that looks incredible. You know what would look good with this? A liner. Am I doing a liner? Maybe. Let me use that dark brown liner that they came up with. This is a green. Hold. This is a dark brown liquid liner from Avatar: The Last Airbender collection. It is from the Zuko duo with Lethal Cosmetics. I'm gonna use this dark brown and I'm gonna do a wing. Because, I mean, you can see, it's almost like a dark reddish brown. I think this will be perfect. You see this color? It's like a reddish brown. I think this will be perfect with this look. I'm doing a little bit of mascara and then I'm gonna do, part of me want to do yellow in the waterline, but I actually think I'm gonna do brown. I think I'm gonna do brown to keep this a little smoky with the eyeliner. And then I'm gonna put on half lash. I'm so excited that it's not like me to be like, oh my god, let's do a neutral look. But sometimes I just want to show that a palette can be much more versatile than you think it is at like first glance. And I wanted to show that even though this palette looks a little intimidating, there is neutral looks to be had in this palette. And I actually really like this one. So that is the first look with the palette, and I will say I am very happy that I did this kind of a look. That's like a neutral look, but with a palette that might not be seen as having any neutral options at first glance. Because if there's one thing I would like you to take away from my channel is that I don't necessarily mind when people call me an influencer, because what I really want to influence is to try new things, see new color combos, and just wear something from a palette that you might not have seen like initially. Try new color combos. If you have not tried yellow and brown, this is your sign. This is your sign to get into yellow and brown. And I just wanted to see how would this look if we just skip the blues and the purples, because clearly you can just tell by the outside this is a blue and purple palette, but there are options in here. And I really do appreciate this look. But now, of course, we're gonna do something blue and purple. After all, this is a happy clown channel we're on. So I want to do something with this shade right here. It's called Universe. It's like a purple to a blue. So I'm very excited about that one. I think I might start with Lunar Eclipse and see if we can do... I think I'm gonna... Am I gonna do something... This is me thinking. I think I might do a halo eye. So I'm gonna do a little bit out here. I'm gonna do a little bit in the inner corner too. Not too high. Just a little bit like that. Because I feel like maybe a halo eye. This is very pigmented. And a little fallout. Because I went in a little heavy. Oopsie. I'm actually gonna put down just a layer of powder. And I haven't done any blush or highlight, so we need to do that as well. But I'm just putting down a layer of powder so it makes it a little easier to dust away once we are done. But I want to have this one a little bit winged out. And I'll do the lower lash line once we have dusted this powder away. Maybe like that. And then I think I'm gonna use... This is me thinking, do I want to do the purple or the blue? Maybe the blue would be more fun. Let me find another one of those EO4s. One that doesn't have dark purple on it. And let me see if I can do a little bit of, this is space. And this is the blue. Let me see if I can do a little bit of that. Because I feel like this would be cool. I'm just doing a look today that's very much in the theme of the palette, which is blue and purple. I mean, that's the packaging. We're doing a look that's the packaging of the palette. That's where we're at. Oh, look at that. See, this is my hood. And you're getting that little hood. But now I got the color in there. And we're going to do a little blue as well. Oh, you can see here as well. We will figure that out. This is looking really nice. Always with these more dramatic looks, and especially with halo eyes, it's a trust the process kind of a deal. It will get worse before it gets better. I'm going back with the dark purple, and I'm just putting more on and just blending to make sure that they look decent together. I am going to be probably using actually some of that pastel on the edge as we get closer, but let me do the same on the other eye. Okay, so I clean off my brush a bit and you can see it's very dramatic right now. So we're gonna do the dark matter, which is the pastel one. It has some shimmer in it, but I don't really care about that. I'm gonna start with putting this in the middle because this is gonna be the shadow that I put the shimmer on top. Not down here, but like in between here. That's looking really cute. And then I'm just gonna blend a little bit on the edge. That's gonna make the blue pull a little bit more purple. But I'm hoping that this will just make the look that like blue purple that the palette is. I wanted to show you something that was like true to the palette cover and also something that's very true to me, which is like very dramatic makeup. And then I wanted to show you something that was a little bit more neutral and maybe not a look that you would have thought of initially, like seeing the palette, but just showing you like what could be done with the palette. And you can see now that I'm putting this on, it's making the blue a little bit more muted. So we're gonna have to go and back and like reapply a couple of those. I'm gonna go back with a little bit of space, which is the blue. And we're gonna reapply that on the edge. Just blend, blend, blend. You can always go back and forth when you're doing, especially when you're doing more intricate look or more dramatic looks, you sometimes need to go back and forth with the different shadows. And now I'm going back to that dark purple and we're blending out here again. Remember, it doesn't have to be perfect, just good enough. We're not trying to do the super smooth airbrushed Instagram makeup. We're trying to do something that's cute enough for us to be out in public in. I'm using the same colors under the eyes too. Now I'm just deepening up with the purple. I'm not gonna leave a gap in the lower part. Sometimes I do, most of the times I don't, because I don't like that look on me personally, but it looks really good on a lot of people. But yeah, putting the same colors under the eyes. Is it a perfect blend? No. Is it good enough? Yes. I'm actually gonna do a little blue in the waterline. I just wanna see how this looks before we get into, yeah, this is gonna be perfect. Yes, perfect. Before we get into shimmer, I just wanna see that this makes sense. I might even do blue liner. Would that be cool? Should I do black? I've been so into liner. Send help. And if you're ever looking for a bright but dark blue, this one from Juvia's Place, it is in Royal, I think. Yeah, it's the Nubian eyeliner in Royal. It is this perfect, oh my God. I almost used this one up. That's it. Who am I using up eyeliners? Yeah, I use this a lot. It's a beautiful bright blue that I am almost out of, and that actually genuinely shocked me. Wow. So this is Universe, and I am gonna be spraying this if I can find my sprayer, because we do have a little space here where it's just the primer, but I am gonna be layering this one because I have a sneaking suspicion that this is, oh my God, I spritz next to the shadow, that this is gonna be a little bit of a topper shade, and I wanna layer it on top. Look at that, purple to blue. Oh, yeah, I think that this is gonna be, yeah, definitely a little bit of a topper shade. Topper shades are perfect when you are doing halo looks because you can layer them a little bit over the mattes and get that perfect halo result where it's like shifting between different shades. I think I'm gonna do that dark matter, which was that pastel purple, just a little bit in the inner corner. It's not necessarily super bright or light, but it is lighter than the other shadows, so it will make sense as an inner corner highlight as long as I don't spread it out too much. But I think that that will actually make sense. But this looks really good. I'm a big fan and I'm loving that we are doing the purple and the blue. I feel like this really is giving the energy of the palette, right? I'm actually a big fan. I think that this looks super cute. So let me do some mascara and some falsies and we can chat about this release and this beautiful look. I'm really enjoying this look. I think it looks very sultry and smoky and sexy, but still it is like a smoky eye, but it's like a smoky halo eye because of the shimmer in the middle. We are going to be doing some blush and highlighter. I still don't have any of that on. We're going to be using Pink Bloom, which is the slightly more muted pink, and I'm gonna be using one of the highlighters too. This one is, oh, it picks up really beautiful, and that is definitely a cat hair. This one is a matte blush. I'm not like the biggest fan of like matte blushes, but we're gonna put a highlight on top. But I do really like the blushes and the highlighters from Oden, but I will say I do prefer their highlighter formula that is not as sparkly as these. They do have a couple of these more sparkly shades from before as well in the collection that they released last time, and it's a little bit of a shame that they're not restocking that now, but hopefully they will if they see that this one does well. I don't know the backstory. I know sometimes it is not as easy to restock things as you might think, but in the other release they did have some shimmery blushes and shimmery highlighters that weren't as sparkly as these, because this one is the one that's a blue to a purple. I don't know, can you see anything? So this one is called Moon Tears. Well, you've already seen the swatches. So this one is going to be more shimmery, and I personally, wow, you can see it's a little bit more sparkly. It's reminding me a bit of those more sparkly highlighters that Glamlight had last year. And even though this is beautiful and very intense, and I know a lot of people love stuff like this, and I will say, ooh, I do love the pinky purple going to the blue is very pretty and very fitting for this collection. I rarely use highlighters like this anymore. I prefer highlighters that are a little bit more sheeny, a little bit more wet effect. I don't mind a colored highlighter, I just don't want it to be sparkly. With that being said, this is really pretty on. If you love a sparkly highlighter, you really like these. And I know I talked to Betty Jean on Marco Polo. We do talk every day, and she said, she was like, oh, the highlighters are so wonderful, they're so sparkly and beautiful. Which is like I said, if you love a sparkly highlighter, you will be like, this is a dream come true, because look at that. It's pretty. So that is the finished look with the palette and the finished look with the cheek products. I think the cheek products are really good quality. I prefer a warmer blush that's not leaning super pink. That's just a personal preference. And I prefer a highlighter that's less sparkly than this. I really hope they will restock the ones that they had from before, because they had a shimmery blush, a peach one and a pink one as well. It was called Sienna, I don't know. Beautiful, absolutely love those. So those were more my tones, but if those weren't your tones, maybe these are. The palette is stunning. I really enjoyed this palette, and I enjoyed the color story, and I really enjoyed that they did a blue and purple palette with a pop of yellows and neutrals, which gives you so much options. I also will say purple and yellow together, I know they're like in a different corner here, but doing a purple look with the yellow in the corner, this one will be stunning. I can tell you that already. Those are going to be so complementary to each other, especially since this one is a little bit more almost like a bright pastel yellow. Very pretty. So I'm really excited about this release. I always love Oden's Eye. I think they're an amazing, amazing brand. I think they make high quality packaging, high quality makeup to a very reasonable price. And I like the color selections that they do. I like the themings that they have. And I mean, I am a little bit biased because I do know the owner. I have worked with them on 2 different collaborations. But the reason I worked with them on 2 different collaborations is because I love the brand and the quality, and I knew that they were going to produce some really good products. I will try and remember to leave the playlist down below in case you're interested in watching some other things from Oden's Eye, because they have a vast catalog of different products on their website. Lip products, cheek products, eyeshadows, singles, really nice stuff. I hope you're having an amazing day. I will see you again, I'm thinking Wednesday? Probably, or Thursday, I don't even know. I'll see you later this week for more videos. Oh, and it's gonna be all about eyeshadow palettes. That's gonna be fun. Bye!